Welcome into the Chasing Trails podcast, brought to you by St. John Trail Running and powered by Resilience Through Fitness. Join two middle-aged dads as they sit down and talk trail running, life, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Jeff LeBlanc and Brandon Thompson. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another great episode of the Chasing Trails podcast. We're glad that you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Apple or Spotify. Thanks so much for letting us into your life for a little bit, and we're glad to be able to jump in and talk a little bit about trail running and life and everything in between. And Jeff, how are you making out, my man?
Good. Yeah. It's I mean, I could be sad based on the hockey game last night, but for the most part, I'm good.
You're choosing joy over all those things. You're choosing joy.
I'm trying to choose happiness. Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Jeff, new feeling for me.
Yeah. So I was thinking this past week as we get prepared for Romp and Rockwood, which is, the first race of our season,
2 weeks,
2 weeks away, which terrifies me. It got me thinking about how, some people, really excel at, running uphill, or, they're really good at managing the downhills, or they start really well, or they finish really hard. And I've discovered what my gifting is when it comes to trail running. And I think I have become a master of the taper. I'm all about the taper, Jeff. I think that's my sweet spot. If we could just taper all the time, I would be, I'd be winning buckles all over the place if it was just about tapering.
That's right. If I could have a whole 20-week plan of tapering, I would actually do the whole thing. Yeah, I
would excel. True. That's right. I'd be thriving. I'd be thriving in a taper environment. And that's so right. We just need to. So these next 2 weeks are like,
isn't it wonderful that we have 2 weeks of taper in this plan? Like that's a lot. I mean, this week still has a bit of running in it, but it is a lot lighter than it has been. So, yeah.
Like I think our long run is an hour, isn't it? Like it's not.
Mine's an hour. It's an hour and a half.
Is that what? Yeah, says. I think it's the same with mine. Yeah, an hour and a half. So that seems like nothing compared to 4 hours.
Yeah. Right? It'll seem like nothing. Actually, I'm not even going to do it. So there you go.
See, you're the master of the taper too. You've got it all nailed down.
This weekend coming, when we're supposed to do that hour and a half, we're hiking into Little Salmon for the weekend.
Oh, are you?
With one of my nephews. It's his 13th birthday, so all his uncles are taking him into Little Salmon to turn him into a man. We're gonna make him hike out with all of our gear. We're gonna put extra heavy things in his bag, and we'll give him a light bag on the way down, so he thinks it's easy. And then on the way out on Sunday, we're gonna load him up with rocks in the bottom of his backpack and send him up the hills. See how he does. So that's gonna be my hour and a half hike. It's gonna be 2 hikes in and out of Little Salmon, but that's a pretty good hike. So really, and we'll be hiking around a little bit too, so we can see a bit of the shoreline and stuff with them. So that'll be a fun weekend. But so I'll still get some hiking in. It just won't be focused running, but I'll have a backpack on. Yeah. So rocking's still working out, right?
Yeah, it gets the job done. That's right.
And hopefully it feels better than last weekend's run. So because that was torture.
Last week, and this just happens like it's not great, but last week was just like it's like a bomb dropped on my schedule. Like it just seemed like nothing was going right in terms of trying to schedule this all. And it just reminded me, like, if you're going to try and get these longer distances in and try and get some of that time, I don't see how you can do it other than early in the morning. Like you got to get up at the crack of dawn in order to make it. Cause I just kept saying, all right, I'll do it at 8. Oh, okay, I'll do it at 10. I'll do it at 2, and it just kept getting pushed back, and then it never happened. So it was just like it's brutal. So you just got to make sure you make that space for it, right?
Well, that should be easier for people like you because your hockey team hasn't been playing for a long time.
That's right.
There's no need for you to stay up late and watch hockey till midnight like some of us. So that's a lot easier for people like you. But man, yeah. Last week for me, I guess the taper started an extra week almost. But,
yeah, that's right. I've got 3 weeks of taper. I got 3 weeks of taper in.
It's funny how I think we've talked about this before, but you do these runs that are supposed to be like enlightening or like help your mental health and whatever, and then you run into like you're like, okay, this is my last big week. This is the week that's gonna change everything, right? Like this is the last big week, and then it all falls apart, and the amount of stress that you put on yourself with that, and so Friday night I was up late watching hockey as usual. Saturday we were up early because the girls were running the 5K at the Fredericton Marathon, which was a great experience. They had a lot of fun. They had a bunch of aunts come and run with them, which was great for them. And then we had a bunch of family over. It poured rain all day Saturday, so I didn't get my 3-hour run in on Saturday. And I was supposed to do a 3-hour back-to-back days, and so I didn't get that done on Saturday. And then by Saturday night, I was rode off, exhausted, felt horrible. I got into some dairy, which I didn't know I was getting into, as a salad that I didn't realize. We read the ingredients afterwards, and so I felt sick all Saturday night. And then didn't sleep well and got up early on Sunday and did the family thing for Mother's Day and whatever. And then my wife was gracious enough to send me out the door for what I had convinced myself was going to be a 6-hour run, because I was going to do both those sets back to back, right? Anyway, I got out to Woolstock on Sunday afternoon, and right from the first step, I just felt like crap. It didn't feel good. Everything in my body was exhausted. I was tired. I had a headache right from the start. I was like, oh, the headache will go away. My body will wake up, eventually, like it does. And it kind of did. Like around the 5-mile mark, I had like a glimpse of hope that, like, okay, I'm doing loops up and down the hill, and the downhill's feeling pretty good, and the uphill's not doing too bad, and things are going to come together here, and I'm going to get a really good, set of running in. And that lasted for about 50 meters. And then it was gone again. And I was like, oh, man. Anyway, I called it at 2.5 hours. I ran for 10 miles, which is fine. Like, I realized it was a really good, good large effort as far as the weekend was considered. After the fact, I was much more okay with it than I was during the run itself. But like it just all compounded into like a entire like negative afternoon of just feeling sorry for myself. And so anyway, and so it was good. It was good though. I realized afterwards it was fine, and life was going to be okay. That my whole run at Rockwood did not hinge on that one weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I got back home, and I sent Adam a text, and he was still in Arizona, and so he helped to convince me that everything was going to be okay.
Was this while he was running 125 miles?
No. I left him alone while he was running 125 miles. This is afterwards. It would have been. He would have been done by that point. So he was doing his laundry, I think. Anyway, so he did. He convinced. He said, I forget exactly what he said back, but it was like he didn't even care. He's like, "What's your point? You felt like crap. You didn't run as far." Like, whatever. Yeah. Didn't even acknowledge it. Right. I was like, okay, clearly this isn't a big deal.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. The guy I thought was going to tell me that I needed to go run again Monday and make up for it. It was like, didn't even acknowledge that it happened. So anyway, It's all good. So no, I think made me realize that I wasn't as important as I thought I was.
Right. I think that goes to show though, I think that webinar that Kelsey Hogan is hosting a webinar about, the mental aspect of ultra running. I think that would be worth its weight in gold to be able to get some of those things, because some of that stuff, that mindset stuff that gets into your head when you're running for those kind of distances is really like a make or break kind of deal. Like, and like you said, like sometimes we like listen to music so we don't have to listen to the things in our heads, and that's, part of the process is just kind of working through that stuff. But I think if you can, just a little plug for her webinar, if you can sign up for that, it would be worth your while, because I think it would give you some really good tips to kind of help deal with some of that stuff. And it is about mindset a lot of times, and just as much as it is about the physical part. So, yeah, but I totally get it.
Yeah. We've been trying to work on our more positive self-talk, and
yeah.
What is
we're gonna have a whole episode about it.
Fast.
Man. Yeah. It's like hold on to positive things. It's like trying to hold on to a greased up watermelon. Like there's just no way you're gonna trying to get
pool.
some sort of that's right. Trying to find some anyway. That's our battle. But
right. I think back to 2 weeks ago when I ran 2-3 hour back-to-back runs out at Woolstock and did a lot of talking so good, just felt so good about myself, and then all it took was one rainy day of a little bit of milk powder and a salad dressing and a rainy day, and it just wrecked my whole week.
Boom.
Boom.
Exactly.
Yeah. Done. Now, we're over it now. So.
We're moving on. It's a new week. I got my 5K. It's supposed to be like a recovery run. It was just like a regular run because I didn't have anything to recover from. But it was so we're back on track, and we are having Adam and Ann are going to come on in June, and so we're going to spend some time talking about some of that mindset stuff, and maybe we'll get to hear about their race as well in Arizona, and I can't wait to hear about it. Yeah, so they'll be coming on, and you'll get to hear all about it. So you'll get to hear them call us out on our stuff on live on a
live
podcast.
On YouTube.
That's right. Hey, listen, don't be stupid. Yeah. So what? Yeah, it should be great. So as we wrap up, Jeff, I got to tell you all about my resilience through fitness experience so far. I have now shifted from just working with Devin. I'm now working with a life coach and a nutritionist to kind of help give me. So the resources at Resilience Through Fitness are blowing my mind. Like, so I have this person who is going through my macros and looking at my tracking and that sort of thing, which I really am not great at. So this has been good accountability to keep my tracking in place. And this guy, Dario is his name. He lives in Calgary. He's a veteran as well as a social worker now, and he's just kind of helping deal with some of that mindset stuff. And so for something that's, you pay a little fee, and it's just like a great experience, like to be able to have that kind of access to information and accountability and to be able to discover some of those things. It's just been fantastic. So I can't keep plugging that enough. Like, it has just been really helpful for me, and dealing with some of those hurdles that come when you're trying to lose weight and trying to run at the same time and trying to not die on the trail from lack of nutrition and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's not very positive, but that's kind of the truth in some of the ways. But so it's just been fantastic. I wanted to tell you about it because it's been like this cool experience to listen to them talk. So
that's cool.
Anyway,
absolutely.
Can't recommend it enough. But as we shift gears,
by the way,
am I starting to look slimmer?
Yeah, and you got a new haircut. I noticed.
Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah, a beard trim and a haircut. Look at you, buddy.
I think it'll make me run faster. So that's
Absolutely.
why you got to cut your hair before the.
Oh, it's gonna be shaved bald. Don't worry.
Nice.
Left. Yeah.
Yeah, Colin got his haircut. Colin Swift got his haircut. So
made him faster, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the results from the Fredericton Marathon too. I'll have to watch for his episode. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe he'll have it at hearing.
Yeah, it was supposed to go today. I was disappointed.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, Colin. You better be putting up another episode.
Yeah, we want to see. We need some like closure. To this whole journey. That's right. So you got to put the results here. So
watch it every week. I want to hear your thoughts.
Right. And for those of you who are listening who don't know what we're talking about, he's been basically recording his whole training block leading up to the Fredericton Marathon, which was this past weekend, to get a sub 3-hour marathon, right? That was his goal. Mm-hmm. And so it's been like, we've been watching his training, going on the journey with him. And so I can't wait to see what the finale is like. So anyway, get to work, Colin. Let's make it happen. So now we're going to make a hard shift to our guest today. So Jess Vickruck is a great trail runner. We love this conversation with her. It's just so much fun. She lives in the Fredericton area, is involved with the women's trail running scene up there, and shares a lot about about that and about that experience and her and what her summer is going to look like with trail running. And she's got an ambitious schedule, and so we can't wait to see how she does. She's going to kill it, but I just can't wait to hear how it goes. But we spend maybe an unhealthy amount of time talking about snacks. Maybe unhealthy isn't the right word, but we talk about it for a lot of the time. So just FYI, if you don't want to hear about trail snacks, one, what's wrong with you? I don't know what's going on with you if you don't, but it is going to be a big part of our conversation. And so we love it. And so without any more preamble, I guess we'll turn it over to our conversation with Jess. All right, we are thrilled to welcome into the Chasing Trails studios Jess Vickruck, fantastic trail runner. We're so glad that you're here with us today, Jess. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm I was a little bit surprised. It was like, you've talked to a whole bunch of really cool people that have done really amazing things, and I want to talk to me, but thanks for having me.
No, we're keeping the streak alive. We've got really cool people doing amazing things, and so that's we're still 6 for 6 when it comes to that. Except for last week, that was just Jeff and I. So that was probably the first a little bit of a slump there, but we're back on top. So we're excited to have the conversation with you. And just like every interview, we just want to start with hearing your running story. How did you get into trail running? What was your introduction to it? What was that like? And just kind of walk us through that story.
Yeah, I was never a runner. I think I got roped into cross country in high school for 1 year because it was like one of those. I went to like a little country high school, and they needed you needed 4 girls to make a team, and they had 3, and they're like,
Right.
you can run, and I was like, I don't think so. Anyway, it was awful. I think I threw up afterwards because I had absolutely no idea how pacing worked, or I couldn't figure out why I couldn't, sprint for 3 kilometers or whatever it was. So I thought, well, I'm no good at that. And then a few decades went by, and COVID happened. And I'm a pandemic runner, I guess.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love my family, I was working from home. We were all at home, and I just needed a way to. I needed some like alone time, so I started running. The neighborhood I live in, the loop around it is like a perfect 1 mile loop. People run it all the time in Fredericton as a training thing. Um, so I started I would do 2 of those, and there would be a lot of walking. Um, and then eventually, so that would have been like maybe April of 2020. And I sort of said, by the end of the summer, before the kids go back to school, I'm going to run 10K. And I did, and it was really hard. And then I had a neighbor that was like, you know what? I think we should get up every morning and run 4 kilometers. I think we could do that. And I was like, you are nuts. But sure, we'll do it for 30 days and we'll see how this goes. And we ran the exact same super boring, flat, 2 kilometers out, 2 kilometers back. And we did that forever, but for months. And then I was like, we live really close to Odell. And I was like, what if we, instead of running that way, what if we just ran through Odell? That'd be a crazy thing to do. And she was like, I think we could do that anyway. And then that's sort of how, then once I started running on the trails, it's like, why do people run on the road? This is so much better. And that was the beginning of the end, I guess.
And that's how it all began. Mm-hmm. What is it about trail running that you love? I mean, we all do it for different reasons, but what are your reasons for doing it?
There's so many things. So I love the community. The community is awesome, but I didn't necessarily know the community was initially it was just me running in the woods. I love the outdoors, and I love being in nature. And some people, I've recently started running with headphones. I'll sound like a hypocrite, but for the longest time I had no interest in running with headphones on. And what do you mean? I was like, no, are you kidding me? I have a house with 2 children, 2 small children. I run for the silence.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But the community is awesome. And just so welcoming, and it doesn't matter how fast you are, or if you have fancy shoes, or And the snacks are great. Love the snacks.
That's right.
Yeah, my first trail race was the Mactaquac Trail Race, and I remember being done, and everyone was just like hanging out on blankets. It's a beautiful day, and everyone was just like hanging out on blankets, eating like pizza and pie and like gummy bears. And I thought, yeah, I can do this. This is good.
Yeah. I had one of those moments too. It was like, I think I was doing bootstrap boogie that was my first trail race.
Oh,
And there was like fruit snacks. I don't think there was bacon at that one, but there was like lots of candy. And I was like, how is this a thing? Like, how is this a sport where you give out jujubes at your aid stations? I was like, this is for me. Whatever it is, I'm here for it now. So I totally get that feeling. It's just amazing.
I remember the first ramp and rock what I did, and it was just, I had no idea about fueling. I had no idea about anything. It royally kicked my ass. But I remember going to the aid station, like every time I got to the aid station, I would just like basically gleefully run back into the forest with like a handful of gummy bears and a handful of chips. And I would just like, every time I got to the aid station.
Yeah, man.
Not the best choices, but yeah.
No, I don't like salt and vinegar chips, but I only eat salt and vinegar chips at races because there's just something about maybe it's like the electrolytes or something from the salt and just chips that it's like my go-to now. If I see salt and vinegar chips there, I'm on it because it's just like a great energy source as you go back into the woods. Just fill your pockets full of chips.
I don't really like pickles unless I'm at a race.
Really?
I'm all about the pickles. Yeah.
Nice. Can you drink the pickle juice though? Can you do that?
I haven't, but I've been tempted. Like I've seen people that have like they I think that's their like main source of salt is just shots of pickle juice. Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like that would rot your gut really fast. Like I just can't even imagine taking a big swig of pickle juice, but you're right, people do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
one time mentioned the bacon. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
You mentioned bacon, so we're going to back up to bacon. But the first time I ever experienced bacon at a trail race was the W4, like the Willow-Stick Bumping. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. Actually, for me at least, bacon mid-race, not a good idea. But I remember then at Bootstrap, because you come out of the nature park and like you could swear you could smell that bacon for like 2 kilometers.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, no, Jess, don't do it. It's not a good idea.
Oh, you're so much better than I am. I totally succumbed. I was like, all right, I'm eating some bacon. I'm loading up with extra bacon. And then 2 kilometers later, it was all over the trail. Like it was just all over the trail. It was just so bad. But it was not a great decision on my part. Yeah, it was worth it. But about pickle juice. So I had a jar of pickles at the house, and I'd eaten all the pickles, but I, like a dummy, I put the empty jar back in the fridge with just the juice. And my wife found it, and she's like, "Why is there a jar of empty pickle juice in our fridge?" And I was like, I'm saving it for race day so that I can drink it. And she's like, "You're not gonna drink pickle juice." And I was like, yeah, it's a real thing. And so she's like, "Well, do it right now." And so I had to, she called me out, and I was like, just drinking like a little sip of it. I was like, "Boy, I took one little drink. I was like, it's not going to work for me." It was just too much. So.
I thought you were going to say that then you just kept collecting jars of pickle juice, and now your fridge has like 7 jars of empty jars of pickles.
No more pickle juice, that's for sure. It's rough. Anyway, okay, enough about pickles. That's a great conversation. But tell us about your races. What are some of your favorite races that you've done? What are the ones you've got coming up this summer? Just fill us in on some of that stuff.
Ooh, this summer I signed up for all the things. It could go very badly.
Been there, done that too. Yeah.
So I did Hanwell, just the 25 at Hanwell 2 weekends ago, whenever that was. That was muddy, but super fun. And the course is way more single track this year than it did last year, so that was nice. I'm to do the 50 at Rockwood. Have a little rematch there. As you guys are as well. Although I'm a little worried about the new course now. I've seen a couple of people that ran it and it was like 27. It's like, okay.
Yep. Closer to 60 now than it is 50, I think.
Yeah. Someone was like,
right?
but
And
there's
he
a lot more.
extended
There's
the
more
time
runnable
cap.
sections.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It extended
Yeah.
the time cap, but only by 15 minutes. So I don't know about you, but 2 kilometers in 15 minutes, depending on the terrain, is hard for me. So,
Not at Rockwood, yeah.
right.
Is it like Zoo Trail, or are we talking like McKay Skyway? Because those are two very different things.
Very different.
Very different.
Yeah, I still remember that was the first Rockwood, and we were like 21K in, and I was like, oh, what's this? Like, it's good. And then you have to go do the last 3K like completely destroyed.
Oh, just brutal. Yeah,
Anyway,
super killer.
Yeah. So there's that, and then I maybe made a really poor life choice, and I'm doing the 110 in Gaspé.
Holy, look at you go! Your legs are gonna be feeling great after
awesome.
after that
it's gonna be awesome. I have 31 hours to do that.
Okay. All right.
They gave us extra time, and then I'm doing the 85 at Capes in August.
We should have scheduled this interview at the end of the summer. That's when we should have scheduled this interview. We would have such great content. Like, it would be so fantastic.
And there's no going
if
back
you're still alive in August,
settled.
you can come back on.
Yeah.
If I still have knees.
Oh man, that is so funny. So not to say that you can't do it. I mean, I don't want to discourage you. I think it's going to be fantastic, but you're just going to be going through the hurt locker here a couple of times. It's going to be great.
So the goal is basically to just like survive Gaspé and then just like hold on to any residual fitness for the rest of the summer, right? Like it's just gonna
ride that wave.
It's right it out.
So what's the longest distance you've done before this year?
In at Looney Loops I did just over 90.
Okay. All right. So this is not anything new to you. You're gonna kill this.
I don't know about that, but I'm really slow and exceptionally stubborn. These are my.
You feel like you should be on this podcast, like, because that's essentially the qualifications to be on this show. Is you have to be slow and really stubborn. Jeff is more stubborn than I am, but that's the MO for how we operate, is just slow and steady.
My joke is I am the tortoise. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, the tortoise gets the job done. So that's exciting. Which one? Okay, so which one of them is your favorite? Like, so which ones have you done before that you really like? It's going to be on your calendar every year.
The only one of those and there are a few other ones in there. But the only one of those that I've done before is Looney Loops, actually. So my husband ran Capes, did the 85 at Capes last year. And I was uber jealous. So we're swapping this year. He's going to wrangle the kids and I'm going to run. And then, so it's beautiful there. So I'm super pumped about that one. Looney Loops is awesome. The vibe. I've never been anywhere that has a vibe like Looney Loops. The Herring Run is. Have either of you guys done the Herring Run before?
That's the one Jeff and I haven't done yet. We got to get into that.
You guys got to do the Herring Run. It is awesome. For the food alone, the food is like, it's amazing. It's like a full organic spread with like sausages and salads and.
Ooh. Wow. Some of the best trail food I've ever had though was at Woolastook Wamping with the grilled cheese sandwiches. The grilled cheese sandwiches there were like top shelf. I don't know if there is gourmet grilled cheese, but that was pretty close. That was pretty fantastic. So if it can compete with that.
Oh yeah. Right. A lot of my trail runs have revolved around, so that my first ultra ever was the Dark 50, which sort of happened on a whim.
Wow.
And people were starting to finish, and I knew that, like, I think you always had breakfast until like 6:30, and I knew that if I did the last loop, I was going to miss breakfast. And it was I really contemplated. I was like so excited about breakfast burritos that I legitimately contemplated not finishing
Right.
just so that I could have a breakfast burrito. And then I was like, Jess, that's a really stupid reason to quit. Like you can get a breakfast burrito somewhere. I promise. Anyway, so I finished, and the truck was gone. Like the food truck was gone or whatever, and we're sitting there, and Yost is talking. And have you had Nat Couture on yet?
No.
Oh, you should get that on. Nat's done all kinds of amazing things and is like the most humble person ever. But Nat, who had won like 5 hours ago or something, he was done, right? Like he'd gone to have a shower, he probably had a bath, like he looked like a whole human being. Right. And I was just like disgusting and sweaty and cold and sad. And he came over to me and he's like, I grabbed the last couple of breakfast burritos before the food truck left. Do you want one? And I was like, I could literally kiss you right now. It's the best breakfast burrito I've ever had, ever. And then at Chiggy, Chiggy was not a great time for me. And ended up having to like walk it in the last 20 kilometers. And there's only, you guys did Chiggy, didn't you?
No,
no.
Much to our shame. I got hurt. Oh. It didn't work out with Jeff's schedule. We had planned that to be our big race, and it just didn't pan out.
Okay, I vaguely remember that now. There's one pizza place in town, and it closed at 7. And I remember thinking like, okay, like we're gonna make it. Like it's gonna be good. We can get back. We can order pizza. And then we took a wrong turn and we went like the wrong way for like 1.5 kilometers. And I was like, I remember being, it was one of the few races that Wes and I had run together. And I remember being so mad at him that I'm like, we're going to miss pizza and it's your fault. You took me down this trail. Anyway, I was like, you know what? We're like, once we sort of figured out where we were, I'm like, you know what? We could order the pizza now. And then by the time we're finished, the pizza will be ready. So I literally like, because I had hurt myself, so I was sort of like hobbling along. So I got my phone out and I sent Wes to like go to the cliff, get service. So anyway, so Wes like ran off to the edge of the cliff to order pizza like mid race, so that we have pizza when we got to the
wow, that is an all-star move. We've never even thought of that, Jeff. Like ordering pizza during the race. That is brilliant.
I think we should for Rockwood, you know.
Yes.
When you hit that Skywalker the second time, once you get up on the rocks,
you can just have it delivered up there. Can you bring us some pizza up here?
Yeah. First time I did Rockwood, I thought about jumping off that cliff and just ending it.
I didn't need so mad. I just wanted to run. I just wanted to like finish it, and like it was like you'd run 20 feet, and then it was like hands on knees, and then it was like I just want to be done.
Yeah. It's silly. It's silly. Yeah. But even like at the end, I'm not ready to eat anything. Like I'm ready just to my stomach is just like hates me so much. I don't even know if I could eat a pizza if I get to the end.
So after Chiggy, we got this pizza and it like I took pictures of it. It was the most delicious looking pizza I've ever seen. And then I think I ate like half a piece of it and it was just like chewing was too much effort at that point. And
right.
But you were so excited about it. You're just like, oh, why isn't this more delicious?
Your love for trail food is just like you're like a kindred sister here. Like I don't know what happened, but like this is so good, so good. Yeah. I love trail food, and it just makes me almost brings a tear to my eye.
That's right.
Hear someone else love it as much as I do. That's great. I love it.
How long have you been recording? I think a solid like 15 minutes of this has been talking about food.
Oh, I'm sure. Like most of this has been talking about food, which I'm all for. I'm here for it. But okay, so just to ride that train a little bit more, just list your Mount Rushmore of trail snacks. All right. So what are your top 4 trail snacks that you would want to see at every aid station?
Ooh. Some kind of gummy something. Gummy bears, gummy something. Yeah. You gotta have chips. Mm-hmm. Pickles.
Wow.
I'm not really good with I love chocolate, but I don't love chocolate while I'm running.
Yeah, I'm the same way, yeah.
I'm trying to think now. Pancakes. Pancakes are really good.
Pancakes. I don't think I've ever been at a trail run with pancakes before.
But you can bring your own pancakes. They fit really nice in your vest. We just rip a chunk off and eat it. Pancakes.
Okay. Pancakes. I could do that. That would be good, actually. I imagine. Like, it would be lots of carbs anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you pre-soaked them in maple syrup, they just come
Yeah.
out like mushy, and you could just that sounds wonderful.
I mean, everything's already kind of sticky already, right? Like once you get into gels
Right.
and all that crap,
Yeah,
there's already
absolutely.
stickiness everywhere. Yeah.
But would it be like when they dip the hot dog buns in the hot dog eating contest? Like, would it be that kind of consistency? Have you ever seen like Joey Chestnut dip his hot dog bun
Yeah,
in
it's
the
like-
cup and then he eats it? That would be gross to me, I think. But maple syrup
I
will
think
probably
there'd
be
have to-
different.
I think there'd have to be some experimentation with like the ratio of like of
Yeah.
syrup to pancake. Really, I find because like pancakes are a little bit sweet anyway, so I'm okay without the. And sometimes I find like when you're out there for a long time, I get tired of sweet. Something that's not like super sweet is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be real maple syrup and not that dumpster dripping.
Oh,
It would have to
Shots
be
fired.
real maple syrup.
Shots fired.
Wait, no, you guys, I've just sorted this because you can get the maple syrup shots, right? Like that's like
Oh,
as
really?
a gel, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So you don't even
Yeah,
have to.
maybe
You
those-
could literally just you could take a bite of and you could just do the maple syrup
Sure.
gel as like a
So good.
combo deal.
Yeah. Energy tap. Yeah, you could do that for sure. But I mean, maple syrup would be okay, but I could probably eat it on the trail, but I definitely prefer the Aunt Jemima or whatever to it. But that's an ongoing beef that Jeff and I have about what's good and what's not.
I'm with Jeff.
Are you?
With Jeff.
That's too bad.
Mm.
But anyway, okay. So we're not here to talk about trail food, but that has been a wonderful conversation. We did want to get an idea of what the trail running scene like is, especially with the ladies group that you're involved with. Jeff and I mean, Jeff lives in Fredericton, but he probably knows as much about the trail running scene as I do, who doesn't live in Fredericton. So just fill us in on just kind of what the trail running scene is for the ladies group and how did you get involved with it and what are the vibes like and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. So we've been around for like a year and a half. We started in September of would be 2 years this September. And it sort of started. Well, I sort of always wondered why we did St. John has a really, really strong women's group and Moncton has a women's group. And I was like, why don't we have one? And I think, sort of riding this wave of I had just done the Dark 50, which was my first ultra. And then like the next weekend I went to the Herring Run, which is just such like a super wonderful vibe. And Yost was like, you should start a women's group. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that.
Amazing.
So we run on Monday nights at different trailheads sort of around Fredericton, usually between 5 and 6K. Super chill, take lots of breaks. No one is ever like left behind. It's a super diverse group of women, like everything from, I'd say, like we have a few mother-daughter groups that come. Currently there's an 11-year-old that kicks all of our butts. Which is really, I think, really awesome. There was one week last year where we had like 3 mother-daughter sort of teams that came, but it's like from 11-year-olds up into people in their 60s. So it's super chill. It's we're here for a good time. It's awesome.
Amazing. I want to ask you a question. This is kind of like off the rails, and so let me set it up a little bit before you answer it. So, I was running in Rockwood Park. Jeff and I were talking about this last week, and I got scared by my pole quiver, which kept hitting me in the back, and I thought someone was grabbing me. Like I thought I was getting attacked in the woods. And that got me thinking as I was running. I was like, it made me feel like a little like unsafe at times, right? And I thought about how a lot of the conversations I have, well, maybe not a lot, but a number of the conversations I have with like even my own daughters and just with some of the ladies, is just like sometimes that feeling of being unsafe when you run is like a common feeling. And so as a guy, I don't think I've ever thought twice about safety or feeling secure or feeling safe while I'm running in the woods. Has that ever been something that you guys have talked about with your ladies group? Like, has that ever come up, or is that just something that I'm reading too much into, or is that real?
Well, it's totally real. I
Yeah.
think, and it's not necessarily that, it's inherently unsafe. I think part of it is just something that being a woman you think of about all the time.
Mm.
And I laugh. So, if I'm traveling or if I'm away and I'm running in an unfamiliar place, like you sort of always have to, in Fredericton, I know the town and where to be or not be. I mean, Fredericton's pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Calgary. There are definitely parts of Calgary that you don't run on your,
Right. Yeah.
but you're always sort of, for me, I find that I am more aware of it when I'm in an urban environment. I'm not really worried about it in the woods as much, but I know that I'm maybe not the norm. But yeah, you're always sort of, if you approach someone on the trail or on the sidewalk, I'm always playing the like, does this person look safe? Should I run?
Right.
Should I cross the street? It actually happened. I was in Quebec in February. More embarrassing stories about me. And it was one of those situations where, and this is one of the things I do find as a woman, that if I am running or if I'm outside and no one else is around, I'm like, why is no one else here? Like, is there a reason that no one else is here and I'm the only one
Right.
here? And it was like 9 o'clock. It was dark. It was February. I was running at night in an unfamiliar place. And the only person I saw was this man walking up the sidewalk, and it was really cold. It was like -25 with a wind chill of like -30. And so he was like all bundled up, and I was like trying to figure out, do I cross the road? Like, what should I do with this guy? And as I was trying to like figure him out, I trip on the sidewalk and like epically face planted on the sidewalk, because this is where I fall down.
Ouch.
And it turns the guy was like this like really sweet old man that was very concerned for my well-being and trying to help me up. And I'm like trying to explain to him in my broken French that I'm fine. But yeah, I mean, it's something. The other thing that I find, especially relating to women in the trails in particular, is that they're really worried about getting lost in navigation.
Yeah.
And don't want to get lost in the woods by themselves. So I think that I've talked about doing like a afternoon, like an orienteering afternoon, just getting everyone out with like compasses and just getting more confident with route finding in the woods. Because I think that's a big one too.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. It's just something that I didn't really consider very much until I was in a spot where I was like, oh, I feel a little weird. And I was like, this must be how they feel all the time, because it'd be really hard. So it just got me thinking about how that would be. So thanks. I think
most of us just think about it so subconsciously all the time that you don't even really realize that it's something that you take into account, because it's the way it's always been, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I get it. And it's not always how it appears too, because I just think about how my face must look when I'm running. Like when I'm running, and if you saw my face while I was running, I would not look like a friendly person. And so I could just say, like, there are times when appearances can be deceiving. So I think it's like, yeah, you're always just trying to figure out, hey, is this guy a weirdo, or does he have respiratory issues, or like what's going on? Is he having a heart attack? Do you need help, sir? Do you need help? Yeah. So it's that.
Are you an angry runner, Brandon?
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes I'm really angry, but sometimes I think just my resting run face looks like I hate life. Like that's just kind of how I every picture I've ever had taken at a race just looks like I hate my life. And at some points that's true while I'm running, but most of the time it's early on and I feel pretty good. So it's just a weird thing about me, but I don't know. Some people look like they love it. So I guess I gotta work on that. I have to work on my positivity all around, but this is
even I find though, even when it's like you get the people who take pictures and you don't know that they're there and you look like you're dying.
Yeah.
But then sometimes even when I know that there's someone there taking a picture, then I try and look nice, and then it just looks like I'm crazy or possessed. It's like those are my two options.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah, that's right.
People are like, oh my God.
What kind of meds is this person on? What are they running on right now? Like, give me some of that. Like, that's the kind of how you're trying to figure it out. But anyway,
Those are my options. Yeah.
yeah, those are your options. How has like the girls running group impacted you personally? Like, what has that meant for you, and how has that impacted your own running? And what are some of the takeaways that you've gotten from starting it?
That's a good question. It's I think it's made me a lot more confident. I mean, I didn't do it for that reason, but I always thought like I could never start something like that because that was what like the super fast people did, right? Like you have to be the fastest person or you have to be the best trail runner to start a group about trail running. And then I thought, and then it was sort of like, well, maybe someone like in the middle to the back of the pack is, good to, because they're not going to, be 3 kilometers ahead of everyone else.
Mm.
And yeah, and it's just brought me like, I've made so many really incredible friendships or met so many people, through Trailmix, that I probably wouldn't have met otherwise. And people bring their friends and then there's some road runners that come or, sometimes when they're not training for the Fredericton Marathon or
right.
Boston or something important. And it's just created this really, I think we lived in Calgary before we lived here. And I found it really isolating. Like it's hard to meet people when you're old.
Yeah.
I'm not from Fredericton, so I don't have friends that I grew up with here. And when we moved here, I really wanted to make sure that I sort of, gave back to the community and really put down roots here. And so it's really nice to feel like you have this community of awesome women around you. And, it's kind of, so my son had a basketball game tonight that I really wanted to go to. And so I couldn't, so we're recording this on a Monday, which is when Trailmix normally happens. And everyone, almost like so many people ran the Fredericton Marathon yesterday. So normally if I can't go to a run, I would ask someone else to do it. And but all the people I could think of had like run this weekend and I didn't want to put pressure on them. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to cancel the run for this week. Like it's not a big deal. So I sort of put a little post in the Facebook group that was like, sorry guys, we're going to skip this week's run and we'll pick up again next week. And in the comments, someone said, well, like I just kind of like to go to Hanwell if anyone else wants to come with me. And then a couple other people were like, well, I go to Hanwell with you. And so I was like, well, I'll go to Hanwell with you. I was like, okay, well, I'll just make a group run and I'll just make an event and you guys can run it. So it's really cool that it's sort of become an entity, of itself, which is really special, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of taken a life of its own.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. As we wrap up, Jess, one of the things that Jeff and I are always looking for tips and tricks is how to run when you have a busy family. I mean, we're always trying to figure out how to do this. And so you've got a busy family. What are some of the things that you've learned? What doesn't work? What does work? What are you trying to do?
Oh man, I don't know. But it's getting harder. You guys know, the longer the distances, the more training there is and the harder it gets to squeeze it in and not feel like perpetually guilty about not being around or then you just don't sleep and then you're grumpy. Like we were talking about before, I used to be more of a morning runner. I haven't been as much of a morning runner. Having a really supportive partner is good.
Yeah. Big time.
And it does help that like Wes runs too. So he understands the sort of timing of things. I am learning though, I think that after this sort of cycle, if you do have both sides of the family that are running, don't do the same race because then you're both trying to build at the same time. So like right now, Wes and I are both trying to squeak in like, stupid long runs on the weekend. It's easier if there's like one person that's like not in the, yeah. Communication is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
All
know.
right. Sounds like you got as much figured out as we do. So it's a wonderful thing. Are you both running in the Romp and Rockwood?
So here's, yeah. So again, the parenting, we were supposed to be, but my son has a basketball tournament in PEI. So Wes took one for the team. He's going to go to Rock or to PEI with the kids. I'm going to run Brockwood, and then the plan is that when I'm done running, I'm going to jump in the car and drive to PEI and meet them. So if you want to see something real funny, you can watch me if I finish Rockwood, get out of a car after running that, and then
Yes.
driving for 3 hours. It'll be pretty funny, I'm imagining, for everyone.
Yeah. Please videotape you getting out of your car in PEI because that will be hilarious. That will be so
Yeah,
much
we
fun.
did this. We did the same thing last weekend. We flipped it. So I ran the 25, Wes ran the 50, and then Keller had a basketball tournament in Moncton. So Wes finished his 50K, got in the car, drove to Moncton, met us for dinner. I didn't see him get out of the car, but I really wish I had because I'm sure it was hilarious.
There's just something about sitting in a car after you run that causes your hips to seize in a position that doesn't feel right. Like even after a 2.5 hour run at Woolstook, I'll drive home for 15 minutes, and by the time I get to my driveway, I'm like, how am I going to get out of this car? And so just doing it after a 50K, like it's not. You're right. It's not fun. But if you videotape it, we'll put it on our socials and we will show
Yes.
everyone.
I still remember. So
Pretty good.
after we ran Shiggy, we went to get in the car, and like, when you get into a car, people see this, but like, you sort of have to like sit and get in the car.
Yeah.
Well, it was like Wes could only get so far down, so he like got like partially down and then just like whacked his whole side into like the side of the windshield. Like I couldn't bend his knees far to get in the car. And he was just like stuck there, and we both just started dying laughing. I think he just like literally rolled onto the floor, and we had to like get up and try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I ran my first 50 at a weekend in Wentworth, and we got in the car and we drove. We only got to Amherst, and we went to go get something to eat, and just that walk from the car to the restaurant where we were eating was so painful. It was the worst, but worth it in the end, I guess. But lots of
I've
fun.
never done that one a day in Wentworth. Is it good?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the best ones to try. Like if you want to get like a new PR and distance or whatever, it's the one to do it on because it's just a really nice loop, and you got all sorts of, you can set up all your aid there, and it's not super hilly. Like it's pretty flat overall, and it's got lots of cushion, and so it was great. Like we really enjoyed it. And there's bands playing and lots of people around, so it's a great little spot to try it. So you should get out there sometime.
Yeah, I love that about Looney Loops, that you could basically hear the DJ basically all the way around the lake. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it's got the same kind of feel, but not nearly the amount of vert that Looney Loops has. So it's
that vert sneaks up on you.
Yeah, no kidding.
That vert sneaks up on you.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think you can fit in another race this season if you wanted to. So I think maybe Wentworth might be.
I should stop now.
That's right. Wentworth might be one for later on. But thanks so much for being with us, Jess. We really appreciate the conversation. It's been fun talking about trails and treats and all that good stuff. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jeff, that was such a great conversation. I mean, I don't think I've enjoyed talking about trail snacks with someone besides you.
It's been a while.
And it's such a while. Yeah, such a long time. I mean, that was great. Not to take away from the other stuff, but just to be able to have a conversation about snacks is just the best.
Yeah, man. Her excitement for snacks just made me happy inside. I was tired tonight. I was, it's a little bit late on a Monday night. I was up late last night watching the Leafs, and so I was a bit tired, but then I just got so much energy from talking about snacks with that much excitement. It was good.
Right. Yeah. That got me wondering, and maybe I've asked you this question before, but what's your Mount Rushmore of snacks? What are your top 4 snacks that you would have to have?
Trying to think. Like, One of the things that I never thought that I would like, that I really did at Looney Loops last year, was like just plain pasta with some really simple red sauce on it.
Yeah,
And I
that
only
picked you
got
right
like
up.
Yeah, I only got like one cup because then it was all gone. But clearly, I'm not the only one who likes it because it got all eaten really fast. So, but yeah, I feel like it really brought me back to life there at one point. So I would say I would put that in there. But yeah, it's a lot of the same as you guys. I've never eaten pickles while I've run because my stomach's always a little upset.
Yeah,
So I will bring with me my own set of ginger chews this year instead of stealing Adams. I might still steal Adams, hard to say, but if I remember to get them. But yeah, so those would be in there for sure. Something with some ginger. Coke is a big one. I love just being able to grab just a little thimble of Coke and just hitting 2 or 3 of those. I think the sugar content's probably the big reason, obviously. And then I mean any kind of candy. I see a lot of people now on Instagram talking about running and eating nerd clusters, and man, those are good. So I might have to switch from Sour Patch Kids to nerd clusters because after a while, the Sour Patch Kids hurt your mouth. Like you get all like raw inside. So So I feel like the nerd clusters wouldn't do that, and man, they're good. So yeah.
No, that's a good Rushmore.
I don't know if I named 4 of them, but that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I would have. I would include Made with Local Bars because that's a staple for me, and not a sponsor, but I would eat those like every single run. Definitely chips. Like I love, like I said, salt and vinegar chips. Some sort of like gummy candy. So I would like jujubes or gummy, like the nerd clusters would be fantastic. I would definitely go for one of those.
I find jujubes just a little too chewy for me. I love them.
Yeah.
I love black jujubes, and like they're one of my favorite like Christmas candies, whatever. But I don't want anything that gets really stuck to my teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to be careful of that. And I would say grilled cheese. Like having a grilled cheese sandwich when you're friggin' running is amazing. So those would be my 4, I think. But I've hardly seen a snack that I would say no to, if I'm honest.
That's
like,
the
there's
thing.
hardly
the entire table at Looney Loops. That's just fine.
Yeah, man. I was like,
just
I'm here for it.
Bring that table. Oh, we forgot fruit. I really like a nice cold watermelon too. Or pineapple. That's good, But just bring the whole table at Looney Loops, and that's good.
Yep. Well, I also think too. Just we've kind of hijacked the debrief here, but I think just even like the creation that Jess was talking about with the girls group or the ladies running group, Trailmix is just like a really cool concept of creating that community. And we've seen it here in St. John. I guess it's happening in Moncton as well, but just to hear about it in the Fredericton area is just a really neat thing. Great on her for doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've tried to convince my wife to get out to it a few times, but it's never worked out. So
there seems to be Jeff a really good trail running community in Fredericton. Do you think you'll ever explore it? Do you think you'll ever explore it?
Yeah, evenings are tough for me. I hate running at night, at the evening.
I know you
after
do.
supper. When supper hits, like by the time, or even just before supper, like when I finish work, I just want to go home, want to make a good meal, and then I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be active, that's for sure. So that's my challenge with the evening runs. And I always said I would run in the morning, but guess how many times I've been to the Devon Deer? 0. So I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. That's just I'm a solo kind of guy, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe that's like I spend all day with people at work and clients, and we have a lot of kids. So maybe I didn't know that that's my like time away. I like to do it alone, and maybe that's all. Maybe that's
good enough. Yeah. I mean, the truth is, like, you do have a pretty busy schedule running kids around and to different activities and stuff like that. And that's always been my problem too, is just trying to get the time to go. So, but it's a great thing if you can make the time for it. And so we encourage everyone who's listening, man, go be a part of a running group. And it's not nearly as intimidating as you think it is. And so we want to just encourage you to do it. So
absolutely. And if you could do it with someone, most people who are doing these groups, like, they just got a great personality for it. Like, I'm sitting there talking to Jess, like, obviously if I was a lady and I was looking for a chill group to go run with, and I listened to this podcast, I'd be like, wow, one, obviously she's good at what she's doing. She can run all these races. Good for her. But also she's just fun to talk to. Like I haven't talked to her more than a couple times, but we had a great time chatting with her. So, very chill, obviously pretty easy going and be a lot of fun to run with for sure. So yeah, I'd encourage people to go.
Yeah, go do it, guys. And in the meantime, everyone, thanks for listening and keep on chasing those trails.
1, 2,